So they did a in-depth Xbox chat with a group of friends where we did some predictions. And really, what happened was there was too much content for us to talk about, and we basically got sort of pushed to be just doing Xbox. And I wanted to do a greater E3 predictions chat. So we're kind of doing something a little bit different in regards to a live stream showcase. So let me know your thoughts in general of something like this in the future as well. But be sure to like the video so more people can check it out. Questions and stuff are great, and I hope you guys enjoy the setup here. I'm just gonna make sure everything is actually going perfectly well before we start rolling here. Yeah, that's definitely interesting. So anyways, we're going to start off here just by kind of talking about a couple different things in regards to what's going to be just sort of discussed. So first off, for context, when I say next, that means the continuous entry. So Halo Infinite would be considered Halo Next if we hadn't had the subtitle of Infinite, or Far Cry 6 would have been considered Far Cry Next, just for context when I'm talking about certain topics when we're going through here. Some companies to kind of discuss and involve here include Xbox, PlayStation, which will be somewhat of a separate E3 event, not directly tied to it, Nintendo, Ubisoft, they're doing their own little conference thing around there, EA. So EA is actually doing an event a month after E3. But with that, they will be having Battlefield at the show, so we'll be talking about that too. Bandai Namco, Capcom, Take-Two, Warner Brothers, Deep Silver, which is kind of part of the Embracer group with like THQ Nordic, right? Square Enix, Sega, and Gearbox, which is also part of the Embracer group. They're getting a lot of different companies kind of coming in here. So yeah, I've also brought a fun little surprise for this particular stream. I thought this might be entertaining for people that like watching. I've got the pineapple cup today. It's actually very well hollowed out and stuff. So I thought this might be a fun little opener to kick this off here. It's actually very well done, to be honest. It's well scooped out. Holds a good amount of drink this time. Feels like a good cup and a good way to start things off for this really weird and strange stream thing. So anyways, first off, I like to split my thing by 3 categories. I like to do likely to see, might see, and unlikely to see. And some things might have changed. Keep in mind some of this stuff is rumor, some of this stuff is predictions, but we're going to dive in here and hopefully provide some good context. So we're going to start with Xbox, which is kind of like a typical thing, right? Because of the channel and all that. A lot of people like the Xbox brand. So first off, Starfield. Like, some of the stuff might seem a little repetitive if you did see my Xbox predictions, but it's mostly going to be more streamlined and hopefully a little bit quicker than that one. So for Starfield, I think that's actually what's going to kick off the Xbox event. We don't quite know if Bethesda's doing its own thing or if it's going to be kind of, combined together, but whatever the case is, wherever Starfield is being revealed, and it very likely will be revealed this year with very high confidence, it's going to kind of open dark black screen, stars, and probably going to play like Bowie's Starman and stuff. That's kind of just my guess, and it's going to be like Starfield's going to pop up there. Apparently Tom Cruise might be in it, so that's interesting, and have some kind of movie tie-in with it as well. I don't know. That's been coming up the last couple days, so that's interesting. I think it's going to let us know what Starfield is, and I think it's going to give us a release date. A lot of people recently are saying in early 2022. I'm still holding on to confidence that it's going to release in 2021. I'm going to talk about my kind of guest release schedule after I kind of go through some of these games. Next up, Halo Infinite, trailer reveal, final release date, probably November 16th. And it's going to be something that looks really impressive to kind of show it off. Probably campaign-driven. I don't know if they'll tease the multiplayer. Maybe they'll do like a multiplayer beta. I don't know if they have time to set that up. But Halo Infinite will be there. Microsoft Flight Sim, that's coming to consoles over the summer. That's confirmed, so I'm imagining we're going to see a brief trailer just being like, Flight Sim is coming, the world is yours. Xbox is buying WB. We will be talking about certain discussions like that as well, because that is a new one that came up just tonight that people were talking about, so stay tuned for when I dive into that. Yeah, a lot of people are saying Starfield 2022, but from what I understand, Starfield was pushed out of 2020 to go to 2021, so I think it may be ready, or maybe they don't want to put it up against Halo Infinite. Again, a lot of the Bethesda stuff, I believe, will kind of be sort of driven by what their schedule for release was in opposition to what Xbox wants at this point because they're still sort of set on when certain things are releasing because the purchase is still relatively new. Next up, Forza Horizon 5, apparently set in Mexico. It's been a while. I believe that one's going to be shown and actually releasing this year. Then there's going to be Motorsport. I think they're going to just do a tease of that one, but I don't think that one is ready yet. I think that one's going to be a bit off, maybe next year or the year after. Then we have Wolfenstein 3, which should be done considering the team behind it is now working fully on the Indiana Jones game. They just started production, I believe, in March. And they were also helping out with another title at Bethesda. I think it was Starfield, was it? It was something like that. So I believe Wolfenstein 3 is kind of ready to go, or it should be near completion. And I think it might actually release this year. I mean, we don't have really any idea. They haven't really officially shown it, but I think timeline-wise, that kind of lines up for when it could come. And I hope you guys do find this somewhat interesting, the style of it. Of course, open to feedback for this, because it's sort of like podcast-esque, I guess. Hellblade 2, I think we're probably going to see a trailer for that one. It's supposed to come out next year, probably late next year. And, I think they're just going to update it, or maybe even later. Who knows, right? It could come a year after that. Depends on what's coming. Compulsion's next game. So recently, I guess the PR person or something was kind of teasing that by showing a box with a Compulsion on it. They were joking that it was a press box, but it wasn't. It was just something they were doing. But I think that one's going to get shown off, which is supposed to be like a slightly futuristic action game set in Montreal or something like that. I think that one could be really quirky and weird, especially with them getting a proper budget and support from Xbox this time around. We Happy Few was actually really interesting, and I think if they had like a full-scale budget and full-scale support like they do at this time, that they can really pull off something wonderful. And then Age of Empires 4, it's going to have probably just a quick teaser trailer. That one's coming out in the fall, probably October if I had to put a guess on it. That one doesn't really matter in the context of the rest of the console versions of Xbox stuff, but I think they'll show it off there just because, well, it's Age of Empires. Crossfire X, I think we'll get a release date or some sort of release window and understanding when that one's coming, because I think it was supposed to release last year. We haven't heard anything about it since, right? Hi, folks. Saints Row 5. We'll get to the Saints Row in a bit, don't worry. We have things to say about that one. Dusk Falls, I think, is going to be another one. I'm sure there's going to be like a few little indies. There's probably going to be like an indie reel. They usually do that, where it's just like, the indie games kind of just sputter across the screen. It's like, we got this and this and this and this and that. Updates on like Dark Tide and Scorn and what's the other big one that we're Stalker 2. I think we'll get release dates and stuff with just a quick tease just to kind of get you excited about it. And then on the Bethesda sub side of things, Deathloop will probably be, but with the PlayStation conference, because they're going to be like not E3, but I imagine they're going to have an event. We're just going to assume PlayStation's going to do what they usually do and have an event like right around when E3 is. So this is Deathloop, Tokyo Ghostwire, both of those ones are going to be there. Then we have the Elder Scrolls Online. They usually show off the next DLC or the latest DLC that will be releasing at that point. I imagine we'll see a trailer and be like, it's available. I think it launches like right around that time. I can't remember specifically what the DLC is called, but the latest expansion comes around that time. That's why we usually have Joelle come in and talk about it, because she was a big fan of that one. So now we're going to talk about the PlayStation stuff. So we're just, again, assuming that the PlayStation conference is going to be like the week before, the week after, somewhere around this time. We're just going to rope it into E3 like we usually do, right? Dying Light 2, yes, we'll talk about Dying Light 2 as well. Because I do feel that one, I'm pretty sure that one is coming. They confirmed it not too long ago. So for PlayStation, Horizon Forbidden West, God of War Next, which is supposed to be called a Ragnarok. It's the kind of the assumed name. Then Gran Turismo Next. I don't know if do we have an actual titling for Gran Turismo? Anyways, that's going to be shown. Kenna Bridge of Spirits, and I think they'll have some surprises too. Probably a little bit of a tease of Final Fantasy. And again, I kind of break it down by publisher, so you're going to see more kind of things pop up as being under the PlayStation conference. But I imagine they'll have some other exclusives, maybe in the new Spider-Man game, getting a little bit of a tease of that one so that we know it's coming. And then probably some more paid timed exclusives down the road as well. Now on to Nintendo. I think they're going to finally show off Breath of the Wild 2, maybe give us a release window, a little bit of a tease of what it is. I assume it's going to expand the scope of the last one in many kind of interesting ways and continue that style because it was a big hit for them. And hopefully it is a little bit more visually impressive considering the years have gone by, and I think they should be able to get more out of the Switch now, especially since that one was a cross-gen title. That was on the Wii and the Switch at the same time, which is kind of cool. So from that point on, I think they're going to show the Nintendo Switch Pro because the OLED screen's kind of been all but confirmed from various business groups. And actually, out of a court document today, they announced that basically in the Epic Games court, Apple v. Epic, that Microsoft, or well, Nintendo asked the courts not to talk about a special partnership between Xbox and Nintendo. And it had something to do with cloud gaming and Game Pass, because the Xbox representative said that the information that they're going to be talking about is more, kind of Game Pass related. That's not her particular area, and Nintendo was the one that requested that particular partnership be kind of moved out of the way due to competitive partnership meetings or something along those lines. So that's kind of neat. Probably more Zelda ports, full price, gotta juice that for what it's worth. Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword, Wind Waker, Ocarina of Time. And maybe the next Pokemon, although I understand Pokemon may get its own kind of event near there, not quite at E3. And I don't know what else Nintendo would really show. I think there might be another Mario Party game or something on the horizon. Maybe like updates on like the golf and stuff, and some smaller kind of little titles, and we'll get to see some updates on some other games that are still being worked on, and we'll see how that goes. Hi folks, we're doing something a little bit different today. I don't know how folks are, if they're interested in stuff in it, but I think this is kind of interesting and different. So Metroid 4, yeah, I don't see it being like showed there still, because I think they restarted like right before COVID, right? So it's probably it might be like a next generation Nintendo thing, like as in not the Pro, but the one after the Nintendo Switch Pro. Let's move on to Ubisoft. The Division Heartland, because that one's already leaked gameplay-wise. You can go and see that online. So I'm very sure that they're going to show full gameplay of it and reveal what that game is. For context, that's the free-to-play entry in the series that mixes things up a bit. The Division Mobile, very likely. Far Cry 6, which apparently is coming out in the summer. Just Dance 2022. Just Dance 2021 was the most successful of the series. Apparently it outsold Watch Dogs Legion, so that's kind of interesting. Finally get an update on the Prince of Persia remake that keeps getting delayed and shuffled around internally. Riders Republic, which is apparently being tested right now, so it should be releasing probably also over the summer. Rainbow Six Quarantine / Parasite, or whatever they're calling that weird Siege spin-off zombie type game. Whatever it's going to end up with, because they got to find a good term, because obviously with the pandemic they don't want to be too touchy. Hi folks, this is Taupe. I hope you are enjoying it. And then Activision, so Call of Duty Vanguard, which is supposed to be the next Call of Duty title, a World War II shooter that will integrate to Warzone, plus updates on what Warzone is doing, further PlayStation partnerships. Apparently, they're readying Modern Warfare 3 Remastered to have a timed exclusivity on only PlayStation, so that might be in the Sony conference or something like that. Same with the reveal of Call of Duty, because that's probably going to be in there. Keeping in mind, Activision has no studios working on anything but Call of Duty right now, so it's all hands on deck for that one. And that's just what it's going to be. So Warzone update, Call of Duty Vanguard reveal, probably at a PlayStation event around E3. So EA, we did mention earlier that EA's event is going to be pushed over a month later. It's going to be in July, but Battlefield 6, aka Battlefield Next, because it may be called Battlefield, is going to be announced at E3. And I think the most obvious choice is it's going to be at the Nintendo event. Not just kidding. It'll be at the Xbox event. They're going to show it off as a huge, big thing for Xbox, 128 players. It's probably going to launch day one on Game Pass, and maybe even be a free-to-play or a game through EA Play as an option. So that's going to be cool. Yeah, Saints Row 3 Remastered is coming. They're doing a next-gen optimization for Xbox, and then a PS5 upgrade as well. For that platform for Saints Row the Third in, I think, actually maybe the end of the month. It's coming up anyways, which is kind of cool. Yes, hello folks. Got to beta test. Oh, cool. I don't think you're supposed to talk about your beta tests for Rainbow Six. Far Cry 6 trailer. That's what I'm saying, is Far Cry 6 is very likely coming over the summer due to their fiscal reports and stuff like that. Excited for E3. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed the content and stuff on the channel, and I do hope you appreciate it. I work pretty hard at it, so I'm kind of trying out new things. This is a bit of a fun one, but I thought this might be good. Yes. EA Sports. It's in the game. There you go. And yeah, definitely always fun. But the Saints Row thing, we talked about that. E3. I mean, E3 is always an interesting time of year. I like the trailers. It's more fun for me to attend E3 because I did 5 years in a row. It's weird to be sitting at home a second year in a row. But maybe we won't. I'll just continue doing this. But I also want to talk about what else will be at that kind of EA event that would be a month after E3. FIFA 22, Madden 22, the next PGA Tour, which they've gotten golfing rights back. They're doing a golfing game again because apparently 2K's golfing effort has been such a success that EA is like, oh, we want in on that. And I don't think they'll show, maybe they'll show the next NHL, considering the event is like a month later. I hope it's on a new engine. Oh my god, the game is still like ages behind the other sports titles. Warner Brothers. So this is where we get to an interesting part where there is this crazy thing where AT&T took on a whole lot of debt, things have not gone well, and now they're merging off Warner Media to the Discovery Channel, which apparently is a big media conglomerate in the US. So those two are going to merge, and then in the process, parts of WB Games are going to get sold off in mid-2022. Apparently, the first of those might be Traveler's Tales, which is known for making the Lego games. So that would be a little bit heartbreaking. But all of the games on their schedule are still apparently going to release. The likes of Hogwarts Legacy, Gotham Knights, Back for Blood, Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker saga. I would say that Suicide Squad might be up in the air, but it's going to be very interesting to see how those properties get sold off, who's buying them. I mean, there have been rumors that there were numerous parties interested prior. This might be the point where they actually do sell them off. And again, AT&T has taken on a lot of debt, and by kind of shoving them off to Discovery, Warner Media, yeah, by shoving that off, they're going to also shove off some of the debt that they've taken, because I think it's like it's a ridiculous, billions of dollars of debt because of that purchase, because they were going to make a huge HBO Max thing, and it didn't quite take off. Do I think Wolfenstein 3 might be there? Yes, we did talk about that at the Xbox portion of it. I don't think they're working on NBA Live. I believe they gave up on that franchise at this current point in time, from what I understand. Saints Row upgrades May 25th. Thank you for that. Yeah. Lego games. Lego games are where it's at, man. But I think we're also going to see updates on all those games. Going to see a big trailer for Hogwarts Legacy, Gotham Knights, Back for Blood. We're going to have kind of full launch details on that one. And Lego Star Wars, I think we're finally going to have a release date. Keeping in mind, they used to like pump out Lego games, and they have not been doing that for like a very long time. We used to get a few a year, and we haven't had one in like 3 or 4 years now. I know COVID's a thing, but still. Sega, Fallen Judgment, we're going to see like maybe another update trailer or something like that. A Yakuza Ninja game is apparently coming. And then I would also kind of expect some sort of Sonic update. Apparently Sonic Colors, to some degree, is going to be shown at like a remaster port of it. And maybe we'll finally get an update on Sonic Adventure 3, but that's for a little thing later on. Take-Two, the Grand Theft Auto 5 Remastered at the PlayStation event. We just got confirmation that that is releasing. I think it's like November 11th or something like that. It's coming out on all next-gen consoles. I believe you have to pay for it again. Other things, NBA 2K22, probably the PlayStation event. WWE 2K22, which is coming back, that franchise. Tiger Woods PGA Tour 2K22, which is a big deal now. That's why EA is countering it. Well, I'm glad you like the channel. Thank you. I hope you guys are enjoying this weird take on doing this sort of thing. I thought it might be fun. And then Square Enix, an Outriders expansion, perhaps. Final Fantasy VII Remake, which we mentioned earlier, being part of probably the PlayStation event, Integrated Edition, whatever it is, or Part 2 of the Final Fantasy VII Remake, whatever. It's going to have some kind of convoluted name. You get what I'm getting at. Life is Strange Colors, which I think would probably be shown off at the Xbox event. Typically it is. Same with Life is Strange Remastered, the remastering the other Life is Strange titles. And Final Fantasy 16, which I imagine would be at the PlayStation event, shown off as a timed exclusive. So this is my might see section, but before that, I'm going to be sure to be like, hey, be sure to like the video so more people can check it out. Questions and stuff are great, and I'm just going to take a quick pineapple break because I did spend time actually taking this out here. House of the Dead on the Switch? I haven't heard anything about that. a trailer for GTA 6, I wouldn't believe that we'll see a GTA 6 trailer. I don't see that one happening. I think that one's going to be like 2025. It's very far away. The Pineapple Cup, my friends. GTA 76. But yeah, I don't think you'll see anything on GTA 6 for quite a while. What's the Xbox logo for your socials for? That's just because that's my gamer tag is on Xbox. That's what that is for, or at least what it's supposed to represent. Next up is Might See. So for Xbox, these are games you might see some sort of teaser for. Avowed, based in the Pillars of Eternity franchise. I believe it's Pillars of Eternity. That one, I think they might do maybe a teaser update, or maybe they won't show anything because I don't think we're quite there yet. I do think that one is quite a few years off. I did want to first kind of mention this is how I see the Xbox fall release, assuming everything lines up well and things don't get moved. Psychonauts very soon. Flight Sim in like July or June. Wolfenstein 3 in August. September would be Starfield. October would be what's the sorry, I gotta scroll up on my list for that one. Because I have these prediction things set up. October would be Forza Horizon 5, and then November would be Halo Infinite. And that's kind of how I see that release schedule going, assuming they're putting everything together. And why I say that is because I think the Bethesda games are still kind of on their own set release schedule as opposed to being necessarily fully combined with the Xbox release schedule. So back to Might See. Fable, maybe another teaser update. I don't know if we'll necessarily see it. Maybe something. Everwild, I think we might see a small teaser for a new studio purchase, which kind of ties into the Warner Brothers thing. You know, lots of discussions about another publisher, something getting purchased. We might see that at E3, maybe not, who knows. The pineapple is healthy. Yeah, it is pretty healthy. Pineapple Break is where it's at, yep. 2K normally talks about NBA 2K late and beginning of August. I thought they also usually at E3 do like a quick, here's the new thing coming. You know what I mean? Like a quick, just so that you have that reminder that, hey, this is a PlayStation title. I think they usually do that, don't they? Because I know they do full reveals for the sports games more towards summer and the end of summer, depending on when they're releasing. Other things you might see, State of Decay 3's trailer, In Exile's next steampunk type game, but I'm not too sure about that one. Maybe. This is why it's a might see. Gear 6, I still put under might see, but considering they just moved to Unreal 5, and I thought they were working on it for a while, maybe not now for Gear 6. Perfect Dark, maybe another teaser, but they just did it at the Game Awards, so I'm not too sure about that one. Ubisoft Plus on Game Pass. If they do reveal it then, I think it'll come out before the end of the year. And I do kind of believe Ubisoft Plus will be on Game Pass by the end of the year. I see it coming. Yes, a lot of people are thinking Starfield's early 2022. I'm still pushing for 2021. I'm not thinking GTA 6 is going to be here. I think it's going to be 2025, man. I really do kind of think it's going to be 2025, but it's going to go up against the Elder Scrolls 6. But, like, seriously, especially for the fact that they just announced that they're doing, like, I believe it's a full-priced GTA 5 port over, and that one still keeps making money, I don't think they're in any rush to make GTA 6, so do not get your hopes up for that one in a while. And also Quake Next, you might see. I think they might be playing around with the idea of doing another Quake game, so you might see that one teased. Maybe. Again, these are might sees. Xbox by Sony, that's funny. A new Nintendo console. Yes, I actually talked about the Nintendo under the section where it's likely to see. You'll probably see the next Nintendo thing with an Xbox Game Pass partnership attached to that. For the PlayStation event, might see kind of what I talked about earlier was the Marvel Spider-Man 2. Nintendo, this was my might see, but I moved it up a little bit higher because, you know, that document in the case for Epic versus Apple today where they're talking about Xbox Game Pass and Nintendo Switch having a partnership. So for Ubisoft, you might see Skull and Crossbones, although they're retooling that one again, so Beyond Good and Evil 2, that one's still like totally iffy. Trials next, I think it's been long enough that we're maybe due for another Trials game. And Assassin's Creed next, I think we might get a little bit of a teaser, but I believe that would be tied into the Xbox event, considering they usually have the marketing for Creed. but I'm not sure on that. Sega, Sonic Adventure 3, Sonic Colors, which we kind of mentioned. For for EA, we might see another teaser of Dragon Age next. That might be more of a Game Awards thing. I think it's still quite a few years off. And same with Mass Effect next. I think that one will be off in the future again. Oh yes, also I do think Xbox is probably going to give a list of like FPS boosted games that are going to be shown at the event too, just being like either they're going to drop a bunch or like a small selection at the end of May and then do a good stack in June for E3, or they're just going to skip May and do a big stack in June. We'll have to wait and see. Square Enix might see Tomb Raider 4. Not too sure about that. I would assume Xbox would have the marketing for it. I haven't really heard anything about that franchise, but I do imagine that somebody might be starting some sort of work on it. And then other Saints Row 5. I do kind of think that this will be the time we'll finally see Saints Row 5 get revealed. I have a fairly good confidence in that, so we'll have to wait and see. GTA 6. So far away, man. Rockstar turning into Valve. Well, I mean, they're making money, right? What do I think about the talk of GTA 3? So from what I read about that one is it might be part of GTA Online as opposed to being something that is necessarily its own thing, because they kind of talked about tie-in events to GTA Online if you kind of read that carefully. So yeah, and we'll do more comments and stuff at the end too, guys. If I am missing anything you've been asking, kind of make sure you save those up so we can kind of take a look at that. And then we can kind of go into the discussion of those, because I do have just one more brief category, and then we can dive into a Q&A. So others, Destiny Next DLC, I think we'll maybe see that kind of tease. Although they just kind of revealed some stuff, so I'm kind of like, eh. And Mafia 4 might be a wild card game that you might see shown there, because that one's rumored to have been being worked on, but we're not 100% on that. So these are the unlikely to see games that would be shown at the event. This is my final category, and then we'll do, again, the Q&A. The Elder Scrolls 6, it's way far off. Indiana Jones, they just started working on it in March of this year. The Hideo Kojima Xbox project, apparently they're still in discussion. Project Typhoon, I actually kind of want to move up to the might see. I've been hearing more rumors about that being just like some kind of crazy off-the-wall game that's exclusive to Xbox. Again, Project Typhoon. So maybe that one will be a likely to see. Well, now, or not likely to see, but might see. I'm moving that one to might see. Project Dragon, I think, is not likely to see, because that one's going to be years off. That's the IO Interactive Barcelona Studios production. That's what they're working on. I don't think you'll see Conquer. I don't think you'll see Banjo-Kazooie. And Fallout 5, I don't think you'll see, but there's also like rumors that apparently they might be making a new studio to handle just Fallout titles. An Xbox exec recently chatted and said that they're working on new games in the biggest franchises, including Halo, Forza, and Fallout. So it's very specific, because all those ones are getting new games, right? So it's like, is there another Fallout being worked on somewhere secretly or something? I don't know. I don't think you'll see GTA 6, because we get a lot of questions about that. I also don't think you'll see Dead Island 2 or Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I think those ones are still a bit off. So that's my full list. And I was able to do that in half an hour, but with my friends, we spent 42 minutes chatting about just Xbox stuff. That is hilarious. So let's move on to questions and stuff and chat about it casually a bit more, in case you guys are wondering anything. Weekly talks. We'll see how it goes. A Max Payne. I don't think you'll see a new Max Payne game again, and I don't think you'll necessarily see a backwards compatible version of that yet either. When is E3? It's like June 11th or something. I can double check what the dates are. It's next month. It's usually like the second week. Like I said, I went to E3 for 5 years straight. It's so weird to like not be going to E3 every year, if that makes sense. Okay, E3 2021 begins June 12th, probably 12th to 15th, right? Yeah, 12th to 15th online. They're going to have portals and stuff. All the companies will probably have their own little conferences you'll have to watch, and that's where some stuff gets merged, and that's basically what we talked about today. So yeah, guys, be sure to like the video if you haven't, so more people can check it out. Questions and stuff are great, and we're doing Q&A chats right now, so if I missed anything, feel free to reiterate your questions so I can see them again. Arcane Austin's new IP, which is apparently going to be Omen, which is like a vampire game. So A single player vampire game with multiplayer elements added on. That's the most recent rumor, but I haven't really heard anything too in depth on that one. Yeah, Final Fantasy 16 actually might be a 2-year exclusive from what I've heard. I don't think you're going to see Dishonored 3 teased because again, I believe that's Arcane, right? That's working on that, and they're doing like a new game, which apparently is Omen. Battlefield 6 comes out. I think Battlefield 6 will launch on Game Pass day one. I'm pretty sure, and as a free to play if you have EA Play on other platforms. I think it might be that. We'll have to wait and see, but apparently it's going to be just multiplayer. They're wanting to build it up to be big like Call of Duty Warzone. I think it might literally be like a free-to-play-esque sort of title or a Game Pass title as well. Jet Set Radio, I wouldn't get your hopes up on Jet Set Radio. I think Kingdom Come Deliverance will get an FPS boost. I don't think that's out of the question. Need for Speed they were working on it, but they've delayed it so that they can help support Battlefield next, which is like, Battlefield 6, or I believe it's going to just be called Battlefield. Because strangely enough, there's actually never been a title called just Battlefield. As far as I'm aware, they've all called them different things, like Battlefield 1942, 43, Battlefield 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. But I don't think we've ever had just a Battlefield, which is kind of funny. But yeah, I think that's kind of where that's going. Legacy of Kain, I don't think you'll see that one for a while. Do I think House of the Dead is coming to Xbox? Not that I've heard of. Nothing I've heard of there. Not just PC. The Xbox games will launch on Xbox and PC and cloud, which means they'll be available on mobile. What else is there? For Final Fantasy, I think it's just going to be Final Fantasy 16 is just going to be on PlayStation. I don't think they'll put it on PC until after an exclusivity period. PlayStation really likes to lock their stuff to only on PS5, but they are starting to release stuff on PC. They did Horizon Zero Dawn, they did Days Gone, which I just reviewed the other night on the channel, which is cool. More backwards compatible titles. I would think that Xbox might actually add more backwards compatible titles at E3 because it is the 20th anniversary. Maybe some original Xbox ones just to kind of celebrate, the history of Xbox, or maybe they'll do FPS boosted 360 games, or original Xbox games, or something. We'll have to wait and see on that one. But I think it would be a brief thing. A Star Wars game for Xbox. Now, there's a lot of rumors about that, and I couldn't really think of who would be working on it specifically. That also reminds me that the people who used to make The Division are working on an open-world Star Wars game that's going to be similar to The Division, but I don't think we're going to see that yet. I don't even think we'll see a teaser for it yet, because I think they just started. Rockstar Games. How will a partnership with Xbox and Nintendo, or Xbox Game Pass and Nintendo work? So the concept there would be every game, I would assume, on Xbox Game Pass will be available on the Nintendo Switch just through Xbox Game Pass. That's it. And I think that's as far as that one will go. And like I said, it was just today that it was talked about. You can go read it up. It was a confidential document in the court that they had to redact, where it said the Xbox person was up on the stage, and they're like, "So what's this deal? They said, what are you on? We're on iOS. We just got added on iOS. You can do it through the browser to do Game Pass. Not everybody can. It's in beta testing or whatever right now. I have access to it. Still got to do a video on that. But at that point, the Xbox exec was kind of asked about something around Nintendo, and Nintendo had requested that due to competitive confidence. Let me actually get the thing, because I actually sent it as a text to my friend. I want to have the proper detail here. So to reflect competitively sensitive information about negotiations between Nintendo and Microsoft, she was primarily disposed about trying to bring xCloud to iOS and more broadly discuss the console business in general. So they redact this thing where it talks about her being like, well, I'm not part of the Game Pass team, and the Game Pass team is the one that was working with Nintendo on this, and they had to redact it so that it's not publicly made available. So I would assume, mix that with the fact that all the Xbox execs on their shelves have been having Switches. I would believe that it's kind of making sense that with the new Nintendo Switch Pro, that there's probably going to be Game Pass on the Nintendo Switch in the fall. I would guess, which is going to open up Xbox games to like millions of more people and build Game Pass exponentially bigger than it ever has been. A Saints Row 1 or 2 remake. Those ones they can't really do because they don't have the source code, from what I understand of those ones. It would be very hard to do. If I'm missing anything else, oh geez. Xbox buying Sega. That would actually be kind of cool to have like Sonic and stuff under the brand. I would like them actually to pick up the Square Enix properties, if that makes sense. The Western Square Enix properties, Tomb Raider, Just Cause, Life is Strange in that. I think that would be kind of a cool purchase, at least in my opinion. Mario on Series X. I don't think Xbox players will ever benefit from this stuff. I don't think we'll ever benefit from we as an Xbox players will ever benefit from the Nintendo partnership other than the funding of more games and stuff. And I don't see them allowing Nintendo stuff on other platforms, but they'll probably be like, oh yeah, sure, bring the Xbox stuff over to Nintendo. That we're all about that, you know. So I could see that being kind of how that works because we haven't had any. It's been all give. It hasn't been any take at this point, and I don't think it will be because they want the audience, right? There's millions of people there. I don't think we're going to see anything like Plants vs. Zombies for a while. I think Battle for Neighborville kind of killed the franchise. I always liked the idea of Super Mario 360. I thought that would have been sick, right? Like a 360 Mario game or something, but again, I don't see it coming, guys. Dying Light 2 gameplay. Oh, yes, I forgot to mention that one. Yeah, I think we'll get an update. I think we'll get a launch and a release date for it. I wonder who has the marketing on it. That's my bigger question, because there's supposed to be a discussion that might be a Game Pass title, so we'll have to wait and see on that one. Garden Warfare 3. I would consider Battle for Neighborville to be Garden Warfare 3 titling wise. They may try to get people back interested in the franchise by doing a Garden Warfare 3 someday, but I don't think it's being worked on right now. Sega and Square, we'd be set for life. Yeah, that's it's hard to get that many companies though under your banner, and yeah, it's just very interesting. But I think it's actually more likely just suddenly now that they might end up with some of the Warner Brothers studios because, again, that merger that's going to be happening in mid-2022, where, again, because I'll reiterate this for people that have joined in, AT&T needs to get rid of, they're trying to get rid of Warner Media, and Warner Media is going to be merged with Discovery, and Discovery is going to take some of the depth that AT&T has occurred with the big purchase. And in the process, the gaming studios are going to get kind of like spun and sold off. Some of them might make it, but a lot of them are apparently going with Traveler's Tales, maybe being the first one. Yeah. Elden Ring. I thought I had Elden Ring in my notes. Let me go back and look at that, because I'm pretty sure I did have Elden Ring in my notes somewhere. Yeah, Bandai Namco. Totally forgot about this under the likely to see category. I think we will see Elden Ring finally at E3. I mean, that one's a bit of a joke. Xbox has the marketing, so if we see it at the Xbox event, we'll know Elden Ring is real. If we don't see it, I think we should stop getting excited about it. My one friend texts me like every time that something Elden Ring pops up, and he's so excited. I'm just like, it's never happening, man. It's not real. Tales of Rise and Scarlet Nexus, and Xbox has the marketing for Nexus. I don't know if they have it for Tales. But yeah, those were two more options. I don't even know how I missed that. So you got like this long list of notes that I wrote down, so I had all this information from my friends. And then when we did our E3 chat, we only talked about Xbox because it was taking so long. Yeah, it was crazy. NetherRealm and Rocksteady and Avalanche. See, there's quite a few good studios there, right? A neat thought was that Traveler's Tales maybe should end up with actually Lego owning them. They could do more Lego games. That would be pretty cool. But yeah, it would be neat to pick up the Mortal Kombat franchise. I don't know how that would work though, with the movie rights still being under Warner. I don't know how that kind of franchise sale would turn out, but that's the issue with buying the Warner Studios, is you're buying studios and they have nothing they'll be able to work on. And you're like, what? But when you think about it, all of the IP that those studios work on are Warner Brothers IP that they've licensed. Harry Potter, the DC stuff. I guess they own DC, don't they? Or something like that. But you know what I mean? It's all internal stuff. Lord of the Rings. They don't really make unique IP, right? There's nothing I can think of other than Mortal Kombat that's just game related. It's all IP based on other IP that's like from film or shows. So when you buy those studios, you would maybe want to get like a license to keep using the Warner stuff. Otherwise, you just have, like, for example, just saying it out of context, you've got Monolith, but you've got nothing for them to work on. So you have to come up with something or have them make a new game, and that takes a lot of time, right? Far Cry 3 and Black Flag. I think those ones will get FPS boosted too. Should just join forces. That's not how it works. We need competition. They can't all be friendly with each other, otherwise you don't get any competition, and that is bad for market too. New Star Wars games. I think a lot of the Star Wars games are going to be coming, but I don't think you're going to see anything. Like, we do know the people that made the Division 1 and 2 are working on a Star Wars game that's going to be very similar to those, but I don't feel confident that we'll see a trailer this year. And LucasArts is just licensing out the Star Wars IP like crazy right now, so we're going to see those games. They're coming. But I wouldn't get your hopes up to see them right away. I think they're going to be off in the distance. Shadow of War. Yeah, I also heard recently, I'm not too sure about this, but there was a rumor that apparently the next Middle-earth game is coming, and it's going to have like a female elf main protagonist or something. And that one is apparently getting announced this year. So that could be an option too, yeah. Unfinished mess. No, I get you about the Plants vs. Zombies series. Any Xbox acquisitions? I think we kind of talked about that, unless you want me to dive in further about those. A lot of the acquisition groups that I thought they might pick up are no longer ones that I think they'll really get. You look at the company like Don't Nod, because they've just taken under, people buy stakes of companies. It's less likely that Microsoft will buy them. Same thing happened with Asobo. So Asobo is a great company. They did a Plague Tale, and they did Flight Sim, and they've helped Xbox with numerous games over the years. But they just got a stake bought of them. So when another company comes and buys or invests a part of a company, it's less likely that that is going to get purchased by Microsoft, because that's going to increase the price of them significantly. So you kind of got to take those off the table and stuff too. See if I'm missing anything else. Hello, John Masters and stuff, guys. Hi there. I don't know if I'm missing anything. Forza Horizon 5, we did talk about that. Yes, we did, under the Xbox reveal area. Yeah, Ubisoft is making Star Wars games. They confirmed that. Yep, it is happening. And an Avatar game. Yes, they are making an Avatar game, which I assume will also be not shown, because they're going to want to tie that into the movie that is coming out next year. Maybe. Because those all got delayed. And I'm going to take a pineapple break. And again, guys, be sure to like the video. The more people can check it out. Questions and stuff are great. Donations cool. Subscribing is awesome. And, get your questions in. We're doing like a Q&A right now. And I'm going to enjoy a little bit of pineapple before we keep going here. I don't know if that's a weird sound, but it's actually like a perfect cup. See how beautifully that's done? Followed in just perfectly this time. And I took a little bit of video of it, of me going like this with the cup, and I'm going to make a GIF out of it so that we can have it on the YouTube videos. Yeah. A female elf? Yes, a female elf that can cut people up and has special abilities and stuff. That's what I've heard. Because what's his name? Talos? I think his story was finished with the second one, right? Middle-earth 2? Pattern with the Garden Warfare games. Keeping in mind that while there is a pattern for certain games, COVID scheduling ruins all of those patterns. For Honor, I've heard For Honor is getting a For Honor 2, which is going to be like Overwatch 2, where it's just an addition to the first one, but you can buy it as a way to keep getting extra money into that game. So the reason they're doing like Overwatch 2 is to get an influx of cash, but it's going to be the same continued thing, but they're just adding content to it. So I hope that kind of makes sense. But yeah, we did talk about that. The gambling patent, in what regard is the gambling patent something you're mentioning for a particular company or something along those lines? Yeah. But that's kind of what I have for like E3 chat stuff, guys. I went over my list of things, so you got questions. Yes, Sky Captain with the pineapple. The Infinite E3 prediction for Halo Infinite, or... Again, like, I've kind of gone over my predictions list at this point, considering we're like 40 minutes in. I went over my list, but if you guys want to get in-depth questions about anything or anything else, I can kind of dive into them further, but I'm assuming most people jumped in now and they're kind of like, kind of missed most of the chat. Beyond Good and Evil, I did talk about that one. I still don't know what's going on with that one. I don't know if we'll see a teaser of it. I put it under the might see, because... maybe at some point they're going to show it off, again, but I don't know. I don't know if we're going to see if that game's ever going to come out. I think at one point, maybe it's just going to be like, guys, we tried for years and it just didn't work. Or maybe COVID delayed it really intensely and it's actually like still being worked on. We really don't know at this point, right? Yeah. What about Overwatch 2? Overwatch 2 is going to be next year. That got delayed along with, was it Diablo 4 internally at Activision? Because they reported those at their fiscal report that those are going to be 2022 titles. And Overwatch 2 is going to add some light story co op content that apparently is similar to Left 4 Dead to some degree or something like that. And what it does is it's the same game, it just adds new features to it. So you don't necessarily have to buy it, but it adds an influx of cash to Activision, which is why they want to do it. Capcom. I think I kind of talked about Capcom. Not a lot of Capcom stuff really gets leaked too much. Maybe I didn't really mention. Let me see if I got a category for Capcom. No, I don't really have anything for Capcom. Most of their stuff gets moved into other things. And a lot of the Capcom schedule got leaked quite a while ago. We know that Resident Evil Revelations 3 is coming to Switch at some point on the RE engine, and Resident Evil 4 Remake is being retooled right now. So I don't know if they'll show that. It might be a bit off, I think, at this point. Expectations are low. That's always the thing to do. When you're looking at like E3, keep your expectations low, and then when the event happens, you're really excited about it. I think there's going to be some cool stuff, some surprises, but you got to remember we're in a very weird time in the gaming industry because, you know, games get delayed all the time. But we've never had games get delayed at the scale and the influx that we're seeing them delayed now because of the COVID situation around. And that's definitely going to impact when certain things will get revealed and when things will get teased. That's just going to be part of it. Yeah. Consoles companies have patented something for gambling online. They do patents all the time. They're not necessarily like a huge thing out there. E3, not EA. I'm saying we'll get a trailer in this E3. In 2022, we actually get Garden Warfare 3. Again, I don't know who would be working on Garden Warfare 3, so that's why I don't think we're necessarily going to see that one, and I don't think Battle for Neighborville really hit the expectations that they had for the franchise, because that's why they stopped supporting it. So, yeah, I wouldn't really get your hopes up on that one. Same with, like, GTA 6. Crossfire Psychonauts. I don't necessarily think we'll see a Psychonauts showcase at E3 because I believe that one's going to shadow drop maybe before E3, and if it doesn't, yeah, we would get a quick tease at E3 about it. Ascent, I don't think they'll show because that one is confirmed to be coming out at like what, the end of June, or is it the end of July? If it's the end of July, we probably will see it at E3 as like just a reminder tease. But I think that would be part of the quick wheel of Xbox things being like very quickly like 20 titles in like 2 minutes, you know, like bang, 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 bang. But just like release dates is kind of like a hype thing being like, we got all these games coming, all on Game Pass, you know, stuff like that. Security breach. Oh, okay. That's fair. SB security. I get a release date for SB, but there. Oh, okay. Interesting. Xbox had Donkey Kong. Apparently a Donkey Kong is coming. Being worked on from the people who did Odyssey, like Super Mario Odyssey. So we'll have to see if that is actually a thing or not. No, it's fine, Sir Chill. It's always good to have details. But anything else you guys want to know? You know, kind of let me know and stuff, and I can go on with it. Other than that, I don't really have details. Oh, Martha is Dead gameplay? Maybe. I haven't heard anything about that one, or I haven't really read anything about Martha is Dead. So if it's coming out this year, we might see a quick tease, but I don't know what else they would kind of really show for that one. In regards to Martha is Dead, I haven't really kept up on that one too much, detail wise, because yeah, really, I just haven't heard much about it. See, it's a little bit harder to do good predictions for like companies like PlayStation and stuff and Nintendo because a lot of their stuff doesn't really leak. Xbox's stuff constantly leaks, and I think they kind of do it a little bit on purpose just to kind of keep things in the news cycle over and over again. Because some of the insiders that get information would probably be getting blacklisted if they kept leaking stuff at the rate they do, which is kind of interesting. A new Splinter Cell, I wouldn't get your hopes up for that one. Well, they are working on Splinter Cell VR, but like a regular traditional Splinter Cell, I don't think you'll see that one for a very long time. KFC's new console. Well, if I had to put a guess in it, they're probably going to announce in like 2023 and just blow the finger-licking good chickens out of the galaxy. Gonna have like 30 teraflops. It's gonna be kind of cloud powered, but it's gonna be chicken powered with their special seasonal spices. The KFC console. Oh, come out very close. I don't know, man. I don't agree with the Garden Warfare 3 thing. I don't see it. It'd be cool if they did, but I don't anticipate a release setup for that one. At this current point in time, I'm just not seeing that they would do something, would do that game at the moment. Because again, after how Battle for Neighborville was sort of received and stuff, I don't know if they're really going to want to put enough stuff into that franchise at the current moment. And I think a lot of EA is sort of, again, all hands on deck on working on either their sports titles for the year or working on Battlefield 6 or Battlefield Next at this current point in time. Alan Wake 2, I think it's a little early for Alan Wake 2. I believe they just started work on that one, from what I understand. Because Remedy has the rights to the franchise again, and apparently Epic is going to be like publishing it or something on the Epic Game Store. I think it'll also come to Xbox and stuff, but I think that one's just getting started, so I don't think we'll see a teaser quite yet. I think that would be more a teaser for next year's E3 and maybe like a 23-24 release for that one, because they do take time. I mean, they could have been working on it since Control's been out a couple years, but it is COVID times too. I think soon, but I don't think at this E3 that we'll see Alan Wake. Series X tree log add-on? I hope so. I hope so. Nothing I wanted will happen. Well, that's why you can't get too excited about E3, because people come up and they hype things up, people like myself, I guess, to some degree, and they get you all excited about certain games and that, and when you go and watch, you're like, oh, they didn't announce this, oh, they didn't announce that, but usually they get some surprises. Like, one of the coolest things for me was seeing the Xbox backwards compatible program being announced. I actually saw that get announced before other people. So I was at E3, obviously, and I was at the Xbox conference, and the people that go up on stage talk. So Phil Spencer was up on stage. I'm reading the teleprompter, because it's like right in my line of sight. I'm looking over, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm reading it. It's like, and now Xbox is doing backwards compatibility. I'm like, what? And then on the stage, a few seconds later, he's reading the thing. He's like, and I'm happy to announce backwards compatibility. So that was kind of a fun excitement, because I didn't see that coming. Time Splitter Remaster Collection. So from what I understand, THQ Nordic, which is part of Embracer, they are actively working on a Time Splitters port and or remaster. Last news about that one was like a year or two ago, so I don't know if we'll get to see it at E3 this year, but I think it is something that is a matter of time. Funny you actually mentioned that. I was just filming Time Splitters on Homefront to do a video on. Just before this, actually. Release date for Halo Infinite, November 16th, 2021. That's what I'm guessing. That's like the day after the 20th anniversary, because it's the Tuesday, right? So it makes sense to release on that. Yeah. Sony would announce they're enabling storage for PS5 games. Yeah, that's the thing though, is they got people really excited about being able to put whatever kind of NVMe drives in there they wanted, but I'm betting they're finding it very hard to find the very specific options that work with the PlayStation 5, because I'm betting there aren't too many out there. That's why Xbox has the proprietary option, because, the certain speeds that the consoles are demanding. I don't know if the sticks necessarily perfectly work with the consoles, heating-wise, usage-wise, so I don't know. Like, I think eventually it'll get announced, but I think they're waiting for more sticks and stuff to get on the market before they do that. Area 51 remake. I don't even know who owns the licensing to that one. Those original Xbox, and PS2, and that era of gaming, the licenses are really tricky to figure out for those, because you don't know who owns what, and then there's the music, and then there's kind of making it available again. Actually, Area 51 remake, that is very funny. That would be very surprising. I would be genuinely shocked. I think the most shocking thing for me at E3 would be seeing a Viva Pinata 3 or something like that, or a Conquer. I remember at the one E3 where they showed Conquer on Project Spark, it was you see Conquer on the screen, you're like, oh my god, they're bringing Conquer back, and then it's in Project Spark, and I'm like, god damn it. I remember being so bummed out about that. I actually swore once while I was at an E3 conference. It was like Gears Pop. They showed was it Gears? Yeah, because I think they showed Gears after that or something. But it was like they showed Gears of War. I was like, oh my god, they're doing any Gears, and it's like Gears Pop, and I was like, what the? I was like, in the stand or in the stadium crowd, I was like, what the is this? It was just Gears Pop coming up because I was like, oh, it's the new Gears of War game. I mean, they did show two more Gears games after that, Tactics and Gears 5. I think that's what that was at that year. But I was just like seeing Gears pop, and I was like, are you kidding me? The licensing is owned by the US government. Here they're going to announce aliens or something soon, or UFOs. The US government's going to talk about that next month in Congress. That's riveting. Anything for Minecraft for next gen? I wouldn't get your hopes up on an immediate update for next gen Minecraft. I think I can say that. Yeah, I think I can say that. Eventually, but not right away. Yeah, for Minecraft next gen stuff. GTA next gen version. I would not get your hopes up on a free update. I'm pretty sure they just announced that it's going to cost money to be able to do that. I would expect a full price cost probably. They know they're going to make money off that. DSX, I don't think we're going to see DSX for a while. DSX. Because there's nobody that can work on it. That's also the issue why I don't think necessarily a new Tomb Raider is on the way, is because Square had Crystal working on the Marvel's Avengers game, and they had EOS Montreal working on apparently a Guardians of the Galaxy game. So I don't think they have anything like that coming out in the near future. Minecraft too. Are consoles ever getting ray tracing for Minecraft? I'm not too sure about that one. I'd honestly say no at this point. Yeah, I wouldn't get your hopes up for a while. Just like I said for the optimized version of Minecraft or the PS5 upgraded version of Minecraft. Not trying to act with any insider info or anything, but eventually, but not for a bit. I don't think at this current point in time. What I understand. Garden Warfare 2, yeah, Garden Warfare 2 did well, but then again, Battle for Neighborville did not. So you're really into your Garden Warfare game franchise. I love the enthusiasm though. Garden Warfare is a great franchise. It's a lot of fun, but after again the performance and stuff of Battle for Neighborville, I think they're gonna ease off of that one for quite a while, assuming if they ever even jump into it again. Dino Crisis remake. I haven't heard anything about Dino Crisis. Have I been keeping up on Back 4 Blood? Not specifically. I do, because they have been showing trailers and stuff. I imagine it will be shown off at some E3 event this year. Probably just a trailer update. I don't even know if a company would specifically want to have that on stage. They'd probably be busy showing other things. I don't know who has the console licensing for that either. Like the marketing licensing? I don't know who has that. GTA 6, 2025. Hellblade 2 gameplay, I did talk about that under the Xbox category. Yeah, I think we'll get a teaser. Just a quick one. I still think that one is late 2022, 2023. I don't think we'll necessarily see anything too heavy for it. That might be more like a Game Awards kind of reveal showcase, because they did show it there first initially. But yeah, I wouldn't count it out, but I also wouldn't be highly confident on seeing Hellblade 2, but maybe something. Please play Infinite Warfare. Tried to do a stream of Infinite Warfare at night, but there's not enough people, I guess you could say, really playing that at night to do a stream. If I get a day opportunity, I might. A Demon Slayer game? I have no idea, man. No idea about that one. I don't really keep up on Demon Slayer, but Dino Crisis I know a lot of people would like. I'd like a new Turok game. I'm not saying I have any idea about Turok or something, but I would really like to see a new Turok title at some point, but I don't know when that would happen. Sorry about Rust. Rust. You know what happened in Rust? Okay, so I literally stopped last night, the Rust live stream. I went upstairs, I grabbed my salad that was left over from dinner, and I ate my salad, and I couldn't join the server. I was like, what is this? It was the server doesn't exist, and I'm trying to join people that I see are playing on the server, from the recently played list. Can't join it. I finally connect after 20 minutes. I get in, someone destroyed one piece of my wall, killed my character, stole all of my stuff in the house. Luckily, I went back to do my videos so that I could film last night because I was like, I got a bad feeling about this. Maybe I should get it done right out of the way. And I was like, you son of a... I was just like, are you kidding me? A Manhunt remake? Probably not. I would like to do a PUBG live stream, though. That would be fun. Jojo and Persona on Xbox. I have heard, continued rumors that Persona is going to be on Xbox eventually. I don't know if that would be like an E3 type of thing, but I think eventually. Oh, Argentina. Is that nice this time of year? Like, we actually get some pretty cool different places, different people checking in for different spots. It's kind of neat. So they did show Garden Warfare 1 and 2 at E3. Yes, they did my Garden Warfare enthusiast friend there. I was actually at that. They showed it off at the Xbox event. It had marketing with Xbox. I think both of them did, 1 and 2. Because at E3 2015, where they had the Lara Croft ice fountain that you could drink off of. In the corner below there's some stairs. They had co-op set up. There weren't too many people playing, so I went and played Garden Warfare, and I thought it was pretty cool. Yeah, but I'm glad you like the channel. Thank you. And again, guys, since it has been a while, be sure to like the stream, and then more people can check it out. Questions and stuff are great. If you got more questions about what you want to see or what you think might be at E3 and stuff, it's great to have that chat. Donation's cool, subscribing's awesome, and I hope you guys are enjoying our casual discussion about E3, stuff like that. But we did go through the meat of what I, at the beginning of the stream for the first, 30 minutes, is the meat of what I was talking about for what will be shown and everything. Greetings from North Korea. That's awesome. FPS shooter fantasy that I think the name is Hellwitch something. I would need what the actual title is to be understanding what you're talking about. Like Necromata something that's coming out for Warhammer shooter or something? Is it getting cold heading towards winter? It is getting cold. Oh, getting cold heading towards winter. We had terrible wind gusts today. It was ridiculous. Oh no, I know the joke. He's just joking about being from North Korea. It's just because it's funny. He's getting people though. PopCap to do the Garden Warfare style. Actually, I liked the look of Battle for Neighborville. It was really cool because it blended the lines of real intense realism and an animated look, which I thought was really cool. Sort of almost like they do for Ratchet and Clank, if that makes sense. A really neat aesthetic and stuff. But yeah, kind of really thrilling. I don't have much else, guys. Do you have other riveting questions? You need Xbox needs exclusives. Well, they have a ton of exclusives coming. Literally the whole list, Avowed, Fable, Everwild, Year 6, whenever that comes, the new In Exile steampunk game, State of Decay 3, Perfect Dark. They own Quake now, The Elder Scrolls 6, an Indiana Jones company, Project Typhoon, which might get shown off this year, which is supposed to be a crazy open world sort of wild game or something. And then Project Dragon at some point from IO Interactive is coming. They also have Starfield, Halo Infinite, Flight Sim, Forza Horizon, Forza Motorsport, Wolfenstein, Hellblade, Compulsion's next game. I think that one's going to get revealed. They've got Age of Empires, they've got Crossfire X, they got Duskfall. They got so many games coming. There's lots of games coming. A successor to Fight Night? That would be the UFC series. Yeah, the games are coming. Outlast 3, didn't they do Outlast 3? Wasn't it Outlast something or other? Not specifically called Outlast 3, but wasn't it Outlast with a subtitle or something? I thought they did that. Or Outlast VR or something. I thought that was the thing. Whenever the next Game Awards. Man, you're really holding on to hope for the Garden Warfare series. I love your spirit. That's very entertaining. Phil Spencer's shelf. I hope he at least gets up in front of a green screen or something. At least does that. Instead of just shows off the fancy the walls and stuff. Apparently the rumors say that everything on his shelves means something, so if you look hard enough, you might find some kind of hidden secret. I mean, the Kojima thing was teased, the Life is Strange stuff, because Life is Strange Remastered's come in. I still think the Switch is probably the Switch on, or Xbox Game Pass on Switch partnership, so that's probably going to be announced at that time too. Everwild, yeah, I talked about that. I think we'll see another little trailer for Everwild to get a more idea of what that is. Fable Fallout. I do actually believe that they've got another studio they might be cooking up for working on Fallout or something. just due to that exec that talked about it. Witchfire. I haven't heard anything about Witchfire for a very long time, so I'm sorry I don't have any details on that. Outlast Trials. Oh, but it's not canonically Outlast 3. Okay, that's fine. UFC 4 is not quite up to par. But that's what I'm just saying, is that's what Fight Night became, was the UFC franchise, which makes them more money than Fight Night does. Witcher 3 Next Gen upgrade and Cyberpunk upgrade. Maybe, I guess. I don't know if they would show that. Like, those are Xbox marketed partnerships, but I don't know if they would be at Xbox's like stage or something. Unless it was like sort of a celebration of the 20th of Xbox, and they did, they kind of were like, your older games are looking better, and they show the FPS boosts, maybe some resolution boosts, older games running better, and they're like, now The Witcher 3 looking better, and Cyberpunk looking better. Maybe, that could be a thing. Yeah, that definitely could be something that happens at the event. I do also think we'll eventually get like a 20th anniversary controller for Xbox. I have a feeling they're going to do something more for it. They said more announcements are coming. Yeah, the new Wolfenstein title, we did talk about that. Wolfie 3, I believe, is done and should come out this year or later. So they just started working on... So they were helping out, I guess, on Starfield or something. And then they just started working on Indiana Jones in March. So that means Wolfenstein 3 has to be finished and or in the polishing stages. So I think we might see that revealed this year. Which is apparently going to be a single player and a bit of a multiplayer game too, so that should be actually really cool. Because I don't think we've seen the new Wolfenstein games with multiplayer. Youngblood had co-op, but it didn't have none of them had any competitive multiplayer. So I'm very curious to see what a next-gen, or well, I guess it's going to be cross-gen, what a Wolfenstein with this style's multiplayer is kind of like. Breath of the Wild 2, yes, we did mention Breath of the Wild 2. We'll likely see a trailer there. Don't get your hopes up for Splinter Cells, guys. They're doing Splinter Cell VR, but past that, do not get your hopes up for anyone there. Yeah. You see unboxing. I know they're not the same, but I'm just saying that that's a successor to that. I don't think EA has a new boxing game. Like, I don't believe any of them are working on that. Rebooted Splinter Cell. Garden Warfare 3. No, it's cool. It's been a great franchise. I love your dedication to the Garden Warfare series. That's kind of fun. Friday Night 5 or FNF? Oh, the Five Nights at Freddy's, right? Aren't those all on Xbox? Are they doing another one? Didn't PlayStation have some kind of exclusivity for that or something, which was totally weird. I don't know why they would do that. It's totally bizarre. Pineapple Break. Apparently for Gear 6, I would have been more confident that they would have revealed it this year, or actually revealed it like next year and stuff, but the fact that they just started working on Unreal Engine 5 kind of makes me think that Gears 6 might be a few years away. Yeah. The Xbox Series X top hat apparel. They did actually have a hat for Series X. I do have that. Halo Infinite. Yeah, Halo Infinite should be neat. I think it'll just be a small trailer. I don't know if they'll show multiplayer. Friday Night Funkin'. That's pretty funny. Oh, thank you, Sir Chill, for giving me the full context there. Okay, guys, I think that's about gonna wrap up my discussion here, because I don't really have anything else. I'm not seeing anything too extra. But if you did miss the beginning of the video, I kind of break down all this stuff quite in depth. And I think we are gonna pivot off into a different live stream at this point, so maybe stay tuned in like 5 minutes for something else to pop up here soon, guys. But thank you. Yes, the Pineapple King. How far was the new Halo game delayed? It should just come out this year, just the 1 year delay, but I don't even necessarily have full confidence on 343 to deliver on that. We don't know. But just a last mention, liking the video, subscribing is great. Wine and a pineapple? No, that is a gin and blackberry lemonade mix. Yeah. Which is pretty cool, right? Okay. Sorry, guys. I think I've covered most of the stuff and topics and that, but we'll do another review in the near future. Maybe another Metro. They are working on another Metro, but I don't think we'll see it this year because I think it's still being worked on. Yes, there is a new boxing game, but it's not that Boxing Day. I'm glad you like the background. It's just the Xbox one. They just released this. Oh, sorry. I got to point that way. There we go. Sorry, it's weird dimensionally. Yeah, that's the new Xbox background. Esports Boxing Club. I'll have to look into that, but I think it's not EA, right? Yeah. Anyways, guys, going on to a different stream or something in a sec here. I hope you guys had fun and questions and stuff were great. And thanks for jumping in, and maybe we'll do another discussion chat like this again